Okay, so because we have no power and lots of things to do, Jeff's going to be draining and fixing the hot water tank today because, well, in short, everything started to smell like sewage. Take it away, Jeff.
Yeah, apparently this is a big issue. Like, I don't know, a few days ago we started getting this really sulfury smell, and some quick research pointed at the hot water tank, and it's something to do with the anode reactions in there, and it happens even more if you're using the electric heater versus the propane heat. But we were on electric heat, and all of a sudden we got this, it's hydrogen sulfide really, that's coming out in very small quantities, but reeks. It's basically a bacterial infestation inside the hot water tank. So how do you get rid of it? Painfully. It's not really designed to access. So what you want to do is open up your hot water tank. I've isolated the hot water tank so that it's not going to fill from any source. What you want to do is bring the water level down. You can either use hydrogen peroxide or vinegar to neutralize the bacteria. We're going to use hydrogen peroxide because the quantities of vinegar would have been about 7 gallons for our 10-gallon hot water tank, so it was a little bit unrealistic. So,
and what's the beer for?
The beer is just to make sure everything goes together properly and smoothly, efficiently.
And is that what the hose is for with the beer, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's to shotgun your beer before you start. So it's really not designed for this access. So you need to drain down enough water so that you can get the hydrogen peroxide into it. And so ours has, this is a drain plug in the hot water tank. Ours has, somebody's put a valve in there. There used to be a plug. And so you can crack open this valve and out comes the stinky water. You have to open up your pressure safety valve, which opens up a hole at the top of your tank and allows more water to come out.
And this water would be hot if you didn't let it cool down, right?
Yeah. So I killed the heater on the hot water tank a couple hours ago, and then I also ran the hot water to drain that out and have it fill a bit of cold water in to kind of cool it down. And so this is what we're into. So basically we're gonna lower the volume down enough to get the hydrogen peroxide in. And then you have to remove this manifold so you can access this pressure safety valve. And I'm just gonna close this here. I ran it for a few minutes before, so we should have enough space in there now. And this is what I designed, or what you have to put together.
You don't need to be an engineer, folks. You just need to be creative.
Yeah. It's got a threaded connection on it, and ours is 3/4 inch NPT. Some other tanks have 1/2 inch NPT, national pipe thread. So I went and got a fitting that I can add a hose to, and basically I grabbed a funnel, and I'm gonna go on top of the rig and put the hydrogen peroxide in, and we can watch it fill, and it's gonna go in through this pressure safety valve, and then I'll chase it with a bit of water till we get all the hydrogen peroxide out. And then you're going to want to open up the tank and allow water back into it so that it tops off. Run the heater. They say to cycle it for 4 or 5 times. I'm not quite sure what they mean by cycle it, but I'm just going to bring it up to temperature and then maybe turn it off again and then bring it up to temperature again. I guess that's how I'm going to interpret that. And basically you just want to leave the hydrogen peroxide in there for 3 or 4 hours, and it should cure the problem. So that's it. Oh, other tanks, ours is a Atwood, which is a fiberglass tank, so it doesn't have corrosion issues. But if you've got the other brand of hot water tank, it's got an anode rod on the back side of the drain plug, and sometimes that can be the cause of the issue. So if yours has that, you'll want to look to swap that out when you go to do this maintenance. So apparently they want you to do this flush it once a year. So I don't think you have to run the hydrogen peroxide into it unless you've got a bacterial problem, but they want you to flush the sediments out of the hot water tank once a year. So there's that.
Okay, on to the next steps. And so that's the whole reason that you needed the tube and funnel, because that entire thing was turned to the side and there would be no way to pour into it.
Well, I had to take the shroud off because it was turned to the side so that I could access it, but I needed the tube and funnel because I need to get elevation so that I can get it into here. So I needed a fitting so that it wouldn't leak. I've seen other people just use like a rubbery type seal, but I thought this is probably going to happen again. I might as well just get something that I can use again. And I wanted clear so that I could see the hydrogen peroxide going down. But I needed some length of tube because I got to get up there, and the more height we can get, the more pressure we're going to have, and then it'll get through this pressure safety valve. So the pressure safety valve is open when it's like this, in this position, so not like that. It's also closed at the top position, so you want it.
I'm going to tell you a story, baby.
You ready?
Yeah.
It all going in there?
No, it's stopping. And it's dripping out the switch that opens that gauge. It's stopping, it's gonna go to the top of the tube. It's not moving.
Okay.
Is there anything I can do? You want me to flip that valve open and shut?
Yeah, I might have to drain it off the bottom side. And hopefully it doesn't drain any of the good stuff.
I do.
Okay, I'm gonna try because it's either airlocked or it's having trouble getting past this valve. So one thing I was thinking is I could blow on the other end to increase the pressure, but I don't know if that's gonna help, but it should draw in from here if I open this. And the only thing is peroxide's gonna come in and sit on top of the water. We're gonna be dumping water off the bottom, so I shouldn't lose much of the hydrogen peroxide.
Let's see if
And
that
let's
works.
just see if this works.
Yep, it's coming.
Yeah. So now we don't really need to chase it with water.
Because you've drawn it in.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's just a little bit left in there, so I will chase it with just a little bit of water.
This is from all your years of siphoning gas.
Yeah. Huffing and a puffing.
Okay, go for
See
it.
if this works.
You're gonna pass out and fall. Yeah, it does. Then you pass out and fall down the ladder. Don't do that.
It's coming back up.
Yeah. You're gonna get peroxide in your mouth. You're gonna have clean teeth. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. You want me to turn that tap on?
Yeah. Could you?
So now that that is put through the system, what are the next steps besides putting this housing back together?
Okay, so because I put it into, I'm not sure if I mentioned that, I put it into bypass mode, like basically winterization mode, which just isolates the hot water tank. And because I didn't want it filling when I was trying to drain, although the pump's on, there could be some siphoning action going. So anyways, I'm going to tighten this valve back up. This is closed now. I'm just going to put the shroud back on so it's back in operable position, and then I'm going to take it out of that bypass mode and turn on the pump to make sure that it's going to fill the tank to the top. And then, because you never want to run your hot water tank without it being full, so I'll just give it a couple minutes and then turn on the tank. And on these, you can use electric and propane. I want to get it nice and warm, and so I'm going to use electric and propane, get it hot really quick.
Probably just propane since the power's out.
Oh, yeah, there we go. So, and then just let it sit for like 3-4 hours.
So that's when we go to the
its thing.
distillery.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good
yeah,
job, honey.
There we go. We'll report back with some nice smelling water.
Or not.
You can drink it out of the tap. Show
Yeah.
everybody just
Wow.
how good it is.
A month later, we have fully running water that doesn't stink. Jeff actually is under duress right now because he's departing for Canada tomorrow, and he was going to leave me with sewage water, so no way. Right, Frida? No way, said me.